Hi, this is a quick video to show you how to make simple changes to your new website. The first thing that you need to do is log into your website. So if you go to your website and then in the address bar at the top, type /wp-admin and enter. This will bring you to the login screen. Now you'll have your own login details, so if you enter them here, your username or email address and your password, and click login, this brings you to the WordPress dashboard. Now to view the site, you can hover over Surrey Independent Living Council and click on Visit Site. So the main difference that you'll see when you're logged in is you'll have this bar at the top that gives you a few different options. For example, if you hover over Oxygen, it gives you the option to edit with Oxygen. And if you want to go back to the dashboard, if you hover over Surrey Independent Living Council and click on Dashboard, that takes you back into the main WordPress dashboard. If we go down the left-hand side here, you'll see that you've got Google Site Kit. Click on here. This brings you into Google Analytics, so you can get a quick overview of the analytics of your website here. You can see how people got to the website, whether it was direct, through an organic search. But you can click on any of these links and that will take you into your Google account so that you can get a little bit more information. If we come down here, you've got posts. Now posts, as if you wanted to do a blog, we could set that up for you, and this is where that would be, but we don't have a blog at the moment, so you can ignore that. Media is your library where all of your images and any documents are. Pages is all the different website pages that we've got created for your website. You can find them all in here. And then as we go down, appearances to do with themes, you don't need to worry about that. Plugins, these are the plugins that have been used to help create the site. They're a little bit like apps that you might find in your phone. These do require updating from time to time, but that's all included in your maintenance package, so you don't need to worry too much about this at the moment. Users, these are the users that have access to your website. I'm going to add you as a new user. I'll do that now so that you can see how to do it in case you need to give anybody access to your website. So to add a new user, you click here on Add New, and then you give them a username. So I should call you SILC admin. And then for the email, I've popped in your admin email address. We can leave the first name, the last name, and the website. Now I'm going to give you an administrator role, which will mean that you can make changes to the website. Now I'm not going to send a user notification because I'm going to send you your login details separately in an email with this training video. Now if I click on Add New User, you'll see that there is now an extra user here, SILC admin, with this email address, so you'll be able to log in now with the details that I'll send you. When you do log in, you can come down to this user section, click on edit, and if you scroll down, if you want to set a new password, you can click on set new password, and then it will give you some options. You can type in what you want to do. I'm not going to change that now, but that's how you would do it. All-in-one WP migration is where I create backups for your website. Now I'll do this on a monthly basis just to make sure that we've always got a current backup for your website. But if you wanted to create a backup, what you do is click on here, click on Export to and File. And that will create a full backup of your website that you can download and save onto a memory stick or save on one of your computers in the office if you want to. So you would click on Download and pop it where you want to. Now then, to make changes to your website, if we go back to Visit Site at the top here, this website has been built using a builder called Oxygen. And you'll see on the toolbar at the very top here, we've got Oxygen and Edit with Oxygen. So if you click here on Edit with Oxygen, this brings you into the editing screen for that particular page. On this side of the screen, you can see what the page looks like. And then if you click on an element, you get different messages in the left-hand side. So you can see here it's come up with the message, Open and Edit Reusable Part. If you click on this, this will give you the message Leave Site, and we want to do that. We're going to click on Leave. And that's going to take us into this template, which is the top header section. This brings you into this particular area. So this is the blue header area with an image and text on the left hand side, and this is just going to change the details for this one particular page. If you want to change the text, you would click on the text, and you can see in the left hand side you've got the content of this text box. So you can click on there and add any other text that you want. You can see any changes that you make in this box are reflected in the preview pane on the right. If you wanted to change the image, you would click on the image and click on Media Library here. And then you would click on Browse. And this brings you into the Media Library. Now, all of these circular images that are in the header, I've created in Canva, and then they're just imported into the Media Library here. So if you wanted me to create any new images for you to use on the website, then you can let me know, or you can create a new one to import in here. Now, if you've made a change and you think, oh, I wish I hadn't made that, up at the top here you can see you've got an undo button. So if I click undo, that brings you back one step. I'm going to click it again, and that brings you back to where we were. Then you can click save when you're happy with the changes you've made, or if you don't want to save the changes, click here back to WP, and you can go back to admin or back to the front end. That takes you back to the front of the website. I'm going to go back to admin. Now, if you click on leave, that is going to warn you that changes you've made may not have been saved if you haven't clicked save. And I don't want to save anything that I've done, so I'm just going to click leave. Okay, so if we go back to visit site, this home page is made up of a few different templates which have been used throughout the rest of the site, which is why you would go in to edit the template for these. But if I show you another page, we'll click on our services. And then if you go to Oxygen and edit with Oxygen, and you can see as you hover over each section, you've got the option to edit directly in this screen. So if we wanted to change this to just services, you would click on the left hand side and remove our, and you can see it changing here. Again, if you wanted to change the image, you could click on Browse to take you to the Media Library, and then click on any of the images that you wanted to change it to. To import an image, you go to Browse, and then you can literally just click on the image and drag it into the screen to upload it like this, and it will bring it into the Media Library. Now I want to go back, so I can click on the undo button at the top here. If you want to go forward, you can go forward as well, and that redoes the last action. If you wanted to change the whole section, you would click on the section, and you can see here you've got the background color you could change. You can change the layout, and you have several different options within the advanced settings, but you shouldn't need to worry too much about that if you're just wanting to edit some text and change the pictures. As we scroll down, you can see here you can click on an image, and again you would click on Browse to go into the Media Library and pick any different images that you wanted to go in there. These images have been sized for the buttons before importing them into WordPress. So if you wanted to import one, you could have a look and see what the size is. You can see here these button images are 2000 by 1000 pixels. Again, if you want to change this text, you click on the text and you can type your new text in here. So the website page is made up of sections. This section encompasses all of this area. You can see this is the bottom of the section. So all of these buttons are within this section. And then within this, we've got a text box, which you can change here. And then underneath that, we've got some columns. So this is a set of columns. And within the columns, we've got the two different buttons, and they're made up of an image and a text box. So all of these elements you can change, but you can see what you've got selected by looking on the left-hand side here. So if you've got the columns selected, any changes that you make here will affect those columns. If you've got the image selected, any changes will affect that image. And if you've got the text, any changes will affect that text. If we click down here, you can see this section is made up of 3 columns. So that's the columns selected, and then within that you've got the div, and within that you've got the text. Now if you wanted to change these testimonials, these are made up of rich text as opposed to just text. So a text box brings up the content on the left hand side, but a rich text box has a little bit more going on with it. So a rich text box can include links, and in this case it includes the orange quotation marks. So to edit a rich text box, you'll see when you click on it you don't have the text on the left hand side. You need to double click on this one. So if you double click on a rich text box, it brings you into a edit text box, and you can see you've got the orange quotation marks either side. If you wanted to change the text, you would select what you wanted to change and make any changes, and then click on save and close. Now I'm not going to save this. If you made changes and you were happy with it, then you would click on save. I'm just going to go back to the front end this time, so I'm going to click on front end, and it's going to warn me that I might not have saved the changes, but that's fine. I'm just going to leave. So as you can see, it's quite simple to go in and make any text and photo changes that you want to the website. Just navigate to the page, click on Oxygen, edit with Oxygen, scroll down to find the area that you want to change. Make sure you've got the right element selected, and then if it's text, you can change it in the content area on the left hand side, and if it's rich text, then you can double click it and edit it in the edit text box. Now if you wanted to create another bullet underneath here, you would select the div, which is the little section here. You can see when it's selected because it's got the lines around it. And then you can just copy this div. So if you go up onto the left and up here, you can see you've got the copy symbol here, duplicate component. So if you click on that, you can see that that just gives you a direct copy of what was up there. And then you can double click in here and type your new text. And you can see you've got a new one here. If you wanted to add a link to the support finder page, you would select the URL in the address bar, copy it, and then if I add support finder, you would select the text that you want to be a link, and then click on the insert edit link here, and then paste your URL and click apply. And then when you click on save, you can see that's changed that into a link. And then you click on save and you could test it out. I'm not going to save that because we don't need that, but if you want to delete it, I'll show you section by section. So if you selected rich text and click delete, that would just delete the rich text, and you can see you're left with the rest of the div there. If I undo that, this is an icon. If you selected that and deleted, that would just delete that icon box. We want to select the whole div, and you can see that we've selected it here because it's got div in purple, and click on delete, and that removes that whole area. Again, I'm not going to save these changes. Okay, so that's how you make simple changes to the text and to the images. But of course, if you've got any questions or if you get stuck, then you can contact me and I'll help you. And then when you've finished, you can go up to the top right hand side and it will say Howdy SILC Admin, and you click on log out, and that takes you back to the main logging in screen. Okay, so I hope that's helpful, but do let me know if you've got any questions. Thank you.